Happy good evening. This is Brianne from Zenful Mindings, and I'm joining you for just a few minutes tonight before I head to the sweet slumber, just to plant a little seed, I guess, of enjoying the pause of life. And sometimes when we feel like we're in like limbo or this transitory state, it's almost no, not almost. It is unfamiliar, at least from my perspective sometimes. I think that because whenever we do find ourselves in it, it's almost a whole new experience. But because we live so much of our lives like trying to feel productive and like to do things and, provide for ourselves and our families and trying to get things done, or if we're like on an inner spiritual journey or an inner work journey, sometimes we feel like if we're not doing something actively, that we're just not doing enough. But when we talk about the pause, right, that maybe like there's nothing that feels urgent. There isn't anything, aside from like daily like things that will pretty much always need done. Nothing's really calling our attention. Or maybe we feel like we have worked through like a giant chunk of something and we're not quite sure what our next step is, and we're not feeling called to do anything specific. It can be disconcerting because we know we haven't run out of work, and maybe we feel guilty for taking a pause, or we feel like we're missing something. But the pause is really this great giant blessing, right? Because it's a chance to regroup, to ruminate, to reflect, and just kind of let all the nutrients sink in, right? So maybe you've dealt with a whole bunch of stuff and then it kind of calms. And that's the time to let all of the things sink in, to really integrate all of the new things or any changes or anything that maybe has been eliminated from your life, to really figure out, and not through like this active thinking, but figure out how that feels rather than thinking through what's going to happen next. And in yoga on the mat, we take rests. We go through postures and we take rests and find our breath again. And at the end of a physical practice, we generally end with Shavasana. And I'm back. My daughter is not wanting to go to sleep, which is normal. So we took a pause in this video, took advantage of that. But in a physical yoga practice, we typically end with Shavasana, right? And one of the main goals of that is to allow the nutrients of our practice to sink in and to integrate into our energetic bodies, our physical bodies, our mental bodies, our emotional bodies, all of the bodies. And without that, we can feel really still jumbled up after even a really good physical yoga practice. And we kind of get that way in life too, when we're constantly hopping from thing to thing to thing to thing without like living in that limbo, living in the pause for a while. Cat fur everywhere now. We can still feel scattered. We can feel unfocused. We can feel like, we haven't had the time to integrate the tools, so they don't feel deeply seated enough, right? I remember being in college and going from class to class to class to class, and not just in a day, but like semester to semester. And it was so much information, right? That I remember thinking so many times, like, how am I ever going to remember this? I am not getting like chances to use it besides the work for this class. And what? They expect me to do what with it afterwards? Until one day, like after, breaks and pauses and, I don't know, summer break and spring break and not talking about certain subjects for a while, focusing on something else, I was able to finally use it, right? Like have a good, thorough, substantial conversation about it. Like I knew what I was talking about. And I was like, oh, it's in there. Like it got integrated, right? And there's so many different levels to that even now talking about it, I'm like, oh, I should talk about all this stuff. But I don't want to keep you very long. I just want to promote not pissing away the pause. I don't know, trigger warning for that language. Not really harsh in my opinion, but I don't know, you do you, and that's cool. But don't regret it. Don't lose it. Don't wish it away. Just use it for what it is, the purposeful pause. Let's let it feed us in a way that action can't, that full rest can't. Let's just pause, nourish, repeat. Have a beautiful night. Please like, share, subscribe, comment below, message. Feel free to promote all of the goodness and the great energies, and have a beautiful, wonderful, happy, good day or night.